66-0 is the story of an all-black basketball team in the midst of personal triumph and tragedy, social unrest, and the emergence of the civil rights movement, who were led by Bill Armstrong, a white head coach dubbed the John Wooden of high school basketball, who defied the odds to rise above their circumstances in the pursuit of perfection on and off the court.
No other high school team in the history of California Interscholastic Federation, and I'm speaking about basketball, has ever went undefeated back-to-back. We're the first team to ever do that, but also we hold the state record for the most victories without a loss. Those two teams were also named to ESPN's Fabulous 50 #1 all-time high school basketball team.
You definitely heard about the previous team, the team that went undefeated. You always hear about all the legends that came before you, so I definitely knew.
We tried to play Compton every year. I don't think if we played them every year, but we had a memorable game against them at Morningside High School. I think it was in '66, and we beat them by 1 or 2, and it was, they didn't like that very well. I mean, it didn't go over very well.
We left the court, went into the locker rooms thinking that we had won the game. About 5 minutes later, the all-white officiating crew came into the lockers, said something to Coach Armstrong. Coach Armstrong brought us back onto the court.
The scorer and timer got confused at the end and gave our player 2 foul shots down 1. He makes 2.
The scorekeeper put a second back up on the clock, said that he couldn't remember if he was sure that time had actually expired.
And it was all black on one side and all white on the other. And they met in the middle of the floor, and there was a huge fight. Because it was a tough era then. You know, it was a lot of the movement was going on, and it was a tough time. And but we had a lot of relationships with Compton. And then in '68, I watched them. Here they come, and boy, they were really something.
Probably the toughest player that we played against that we saw on a recurring basis was Paul Westphal. Paul Westphal went on to have a fabulous career in the NBA.
And we were just this little team from the South Bay, but we gave them all they could handle. They got us, but we had the lead at halftime, and I think people were pretty surprised about that. And we had a nice little team, but ultimately, if we played them 10 times, they probably would have beat us 10 times.
He was always talking about his teams and the dedication his players had to the game of basketball and their competitive spirit. I think that's one thing he said that made Compton stand out among all the other schools he coached at, was the competitive spirit and the teamwork that he was able to develop here.
The games, the pre-games and the warm-ups was so exciting. Spirit was going crazy. Everyone couldn't start for the game to start. And it was just the school spirit just off the chain. Everybody was just going crazy, just waiting for game time to start.
At Utah, I was an assistant coach to Jack Gardner, who was also a USC grad. And we were the running Utes. But I really liked Coach Armstrong, and I really liked his teams and the way he did things. And I really enjoyed watching them, not just because they were good, and they were good prospects for college, but because they had a special ingredient. They really, really loved each other. And that came out right from Coach Armstrong all the way through their players.
You know, 66-0 hasn't been done in 46 years, and they ain't been close in 46 years. Then to me, that is an unbelievable story that all our inner city kids should be listening to and should hear about it, and they should be talking about it.